Hi there, and thank you for clicking on my video. Today is going to be more of a talk instead of like a build video. Um, I spend a lot of my like casual time on YouTube. I'm sure most of you do as well. Even if it's just listening to music or listening to like a podcast or like an informative video. Generally, I have some sort of uh, video going up on one of my monitors. But I can't have helped notice that some of the people that were regularly making Warframe content um, have started not posting as often. So I've theorized that basically coming up with content that feels compelling for Warframe is pretty difficult because lore doesn't come out that much. So there's not really much to talk about in terms of like a once a week thing. Obviously, lots of theory crafting can be done, but the game's 10 years old. We kind of have an idea of what's going to happen over the next 6 months. Obviously, after Deviri is a big question mark, right? Um, but the entire Warframe category is basically filled up, and I'll pull up Warframe. I searched Warframe, went by view count, all time. It's basically uh, ads from the official Play Warframe YouTube channel, where it's announcing like an expansion or something, or a trailer, or like an OST, right? Obviously, Warframe soundtrack is top tier. More music. You will see the Mashed YouTube channel where they made the animation for Warframe, top tier stuff. Um, we finally get a little bit down further with Death Battle. Still pretty good. Make sure to check it out. But it's more trailers, it's more music. You're gonna have to scroll a little bit until you really start seeing content creators. First one up really is a Nightmare Frame tier list. And down here, a little bit lower, you have SMV, Noob Pro Hacker, and Cool Kid 369's The Warframe Iceberg. Fantastic video. I've watched it all the way through, and as you can see, like this is something great to keep up, uh, like as like background stuff. Like sometimes I listen to these longer format videos at work. This is on the playlist, right? But it's a lot of how-to guides. It's a lot of like obviously we have some lore here. Warframe the whole story in only 9 hours. God bless him. But then it's like melee builds, release, how to farm something, like explaining a mechanic, right? It's the vast, vast, vast majority of Warframe content. Channel trailers, obviously, okay, so we're getting into more content creator, Mr. Warframe guy. That guy's going to be successful everywhere that he goes. But it's how-to guides, basically, Warframe trailers, blah, blah, blah. There really isn't any notable videos where it's like actually people playing together, like people enjoying themselves. And this is going to come back to what my recommendation is. I've talked with a couple of content creators. Um, it was sort of done in private, so I'm not going to name them. Obviously, if you see this video and you want to be named, like comment section. But the main issue that Warframe has in terms of like engaging content is as a community we really have to get away from the how-to guides. But the problem is that the how-to guides are completely justified. Cuz new stuff comes out, cuz modding isn't explained that well. That's part of the reason why I'm making the more slightly more in-depth guides on how to like mod, the explanation behind it, because even though I haven't made like a straight up modding guide for like higher end content, I did like the 101 and the 102, and I don't know if I'm going to make a longer one because the 101 video was like literally just running over the mods for each category, and it was like 30 minutes long. And then I did a 102 talking about where to get the mods that you need, and it was like 2 hours long. Like, if I were to actually make a video or a series of videos on like in depth modding and like what to consider for each category, it would probably take a day. And I'm just not sure, as like a YouTube hobbyist, if you will. I'm not really a content creator if I'm personally up to it, but people have made many, many, many attempts at making 101 guides for beginner players. Like, even when you look at like the Twitch channel or the Twitch category for Warframe, most of this top several pages are solid clips. Like, this is all of from the Warframe official channel or Warframe. Okay, so we have a Brozim clip, right? And I think this is the first one. It might be maybe the second one. Okay, so we got this guy, Nihilus. But it's still several pages down, and then you got DE Steve, so that's official content, right? It's mostly, the reason why people go on here is not to like watch creators, but it's mostly to watch the dev stream. So ecosystem, like the social ecosystem for people naturally going here to the more creator centered areas doesn't really exist in terms of like a healthy area, but because each area is so dominated by DE itself, so it's kind of difficult for people to like really do well. Like, it's not like League of Legends, right? Where you have people that are millionaires that play League of Legends literally just from Twitch. Nobody is doing that well playing Warframe because there's nothing to watch. Like, there's no good PvP content. There are a couple people trying to get it going. I think Guanox is trying to make a run at it, and God bless him. I was chiming into his Twitch stream. Occasionally you see him spamming that crap in regional. But there's no real PvP. There's no real skill-based stuff. There's no real PogChamp moments, right? Everybody's doing the same thing. So it's like, oh, if you sat in a survival for an hour, you're gonna, oh, I want to watch somebody stream Warframe. What are you watching? Them sitting in a survival. You know, it's not really different. It's not like, oh, you're a silver player in League and you want to go watch somebody who's like challenger level, right? Like, you can see the skill difference. It's like, no, it's basically the same thing. As Arthas said, it's not a skill issue, it's a mod issue, right? Like, they probably have better mods, they probably have all of the mods, they probably have all the arcanes. Maybe there's a little bit of a knowledge issue on like doing survivals and like disruptions. There would be some skill issues with, say, like Eidolons and PT, but it's not something where you can sit down and watch it for hours. Make it your source of entertainment. There are some creators in the Warframe Content Creator Program that are really making a run at creating like solid communities. But the fact is that, to get back on point, is that there's no real fun content being made, because Warframe in and of itself, even though for some reason this still counts as an MMO, has garbage social abilities to it. Like, the ability of you to communicate socially with people is horrible here. We have a chat box, but you can't do anything with a clan besides farm. Years ago, we had the solar rail system, which was at least something everybody could do together in groups of 4. But there was nothing really where like 20, 30 people could get together and do something. Unless you want to like dick around in a relay, right? Like there's nothing that like groups of people where you can really come together as a unit and do something all at once. It's everybody comes together, then immediately pairs off into groups of 4, and then you all happen to go do the same thing. Like we need something that's like the equivalent of like a Discord call for Warframe, and we're just never going to get it because it's peer to peer. So it's part of the issue. So what's my recommendation? As a group, let's go over the couple of different things, and then I'll come back to the recommendation. So the first source of like quote unquote content is pretty basic. We'll start at, because people love tier lists, right? We'll start at the core tier, the bottom of the pyramid. It's your foundation, it's your bread and butter. You go to your comment section, right? You go to your comment section, whatever people want. Like you can even see here, Fry Guy asked a question about a MR28 test. I'm Legend 2. I did this test years ago. Doesn't matter. If you look up, here you go. MR28 test. He replied, easy enough. I was happy to do it because if he has a question, he's just the first person to ask me. That also means that somebody else has the question and they just haven't found me yet. Or if they get to me and haven't seen an answer to this test that they can do, I did a very easy setup, was a full range Nidus, knocked it out. You just need something tanky, right? So tier 1 is literally your community. The people that you are going to be showing the video to, this is tier 1, right? Whatever your community wants, they get. So let's talk about maybe a little bit more research, okay? I can't click through this for reasons because I think I can't show revenue. It's a fat $48 this month because I skipped like a week and a half or 2 weeks, right? You can do searches across Warframe. This is pretty easy, right? You see what people are searching for. More importantly, content gaps. Lots of fashion here. I guess Depths is on vacation or something. And farming, right? Like when somebody searches this term, nothing comes up. Like Baruch fashion frames. If you're a fashion frame YouTube channel, hop on it. This is free attention, right? Then you can look up your viewer searches. Actually, hold on one second. Oh, no. Okay. So the next one is going to be you can look at your viewer searches, right? You can look up what they're looking for, and it's a lot of build videos. ASMR for some reason is at the top. Maybe that's why you all like listening to me run my mouth. But it can give you an idea of like what sort of style, maybe a flavor. I would never recommend completely changing your channel unless it is like a strategic move. Because there definitely is, like if you have a core message and you can sort of tailor it a little bit, but keeping who you are, your personality, or maybe growing into it, obviously do that if you want your channel to grow. Or to be more palatable to more people would be a better way of looking at it. But my viewers are looking for a shit ton of build guides, which is probably why I'm getting the people watching my videos, and more importantly, those people are sticking around, and probably because they love listening to ASMR. I will one day get a 2-channel mic for you guys, I guess. Maybe it's worth the investment. With like one of those rain tubes or something. Yes. You place the serration here. Crit chance, crit damage. Right? You know, really try to meet your the people that are watching you halfway, right? But this can help you out, and this is pretty simple still. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. You're going off of YouTube, still staying on Google, Google Trends. Again, this is based on searches. This can help you get ideas, though, to be honest, out of the search list, this is the least powerful, but more importantly, it allows you to compare. Interest by subregion, to be honest, I don't care about this. The queries is what I'm after, right? And then you can do the topics. This can give you ideas on what people are looking for. So, say, like sculpture, visual art form, right? Loki God, that could be some cross context with that, right? Ducat topic, Loki TV series. Yeah, here we go. TV series, Barracuteer topic. So like a guide on like Barracuteer, and like always make sure you have, say, like 1,500 ducats on you at all time. And if something good comes along, baby, buy the shit out of that. Make sure you got a couple mil credits. 1,500, 2,000 ducats. That's easy to keep up. If you need to run an exterminate, you're running a relic, basically, right? You need to do a capture, you're running a capture relic. That sort of stuff. You know, you can come up with some basic stuff like this, because the fact is we have to quit covering this shit. We gotta quit covering this shit as a community. Then you have the queries, which is like what people are actually looking for. Like they're actually typing this in. And this can give you some idea. It's got sort of a heat map, if you will. How much people are searching for it. Warframe Prime. Obviously, Baruch was a big deal. Warframe Market. Not many people talk about that, but this is a lot of people searching for the market itself. And to be honest, I haven't seen too many guides on it. So, like just today, I sold a Zorus Riven. So either way, like this can give you an idea of where to like maybe narrow your next idea down to, and then you can find a topic that you can talk about, and by all means add your flavor to it. Still pretty simple though. Google Trends isn't any rocket science. Here's our first website, and I will link this down below. Answer the Public. Okay, this is search result based. Answer the Public by MP Digital. This is something you might have not heard about. This does a neural style set of graphs based on several questions. This will give you a much, much, much broader idea of what you need to at least look for, and this will definitely help you understand a flavor of what people are looking for. So Warframe, I'm in the US, looking for English. I searched. You are limited to, where is it? 3 searches a day. I have used this site, and I've even recommended it to other content creators pretty liberally. This is a good site where it's a bunch of questions based on, say, like different adjectives. Like can, for example, can Warframe be played offline? These are simple questions people are asking. Can Warframe crossplay? That's a yes, no. Can Warframe be played solo? Yes. Can Warframe PS4 play with PS5? No idea. You know, these sorts of things. If you have insight into it, a 30-second video showing what it is. You know, there are YouTube shorts for the quick and easy answers, like Warframe, where to get Tellurium. That's a quick video, but people are still searching for it. We have Warframe, where to get Argon crystals. Tons of searches. You could make a short. So this result goes away. Basically, in terms of like content creators, I'm not gonna lie, this is basically a to-do list for all of us. This is basically a to-do list for all of us. Okay. So for like the ones where it's the darker orange, why Warframe is bad, you could do why is Warframe bad, why is Warframe good. And to be honest, out of all of these, this is one of the videos where it would be, why is Warframe bad and why is it good? That sort of thing. Why is Warframe dying? Why is Warframe good? Why Warframe is free? Because it's a marketing strategy. You know, that sort of thing. Good, bad, dying, uh, bright future, whatever you want to talk about it. You can talk about it in like a meta sense. It's a much easier video to make, and it allows you to talk about it for a bit. And this is the stuff that, like, say why Warframe is good. The fact is, pardon. Ooh, let me get something to drink. And one of the things in terms of like my mental angle on this is that in terms of like my channel, the only thing, two things, but it's the same thing backed up, is I'm an older player, right? Some Diet Cranberry. Sorry about that. Is I'm an older player. Um, I've been around when times were pretty bad, and I've been around when they are now. One more second. So say like why Warframe is good, why Warframe is bad. You could then spin it to like a more broader question that's more engaging, where it's like, if you had as much experience as you do now, and you could go back in time with all of your knowledge now and explain Warframe in perfect detail to your younger self, would you recommend the game to your younger self to get into Warframe? You know, something more broad like that, maybe a little bit more meta. Because the fact is everybody has their own experience with Warframe. One of the good things about it, right? So this is basically a to-do list for all Warframe content creators. The next one is prepositions, can, near, without, is, right? For, same thing. It's a to-do list. Warframe with controller, Warframe with wings. You know, these questions have been here for months. This shit hasn't moved. Okay? Like Warframe for beginners is one of the most, like, or Warframe beginner how to or 101 guide is literally how some Warframe content creators have made their careers coming up with beginner 101 guides. Okay? This is a like expedited suffering. It's basically, if you come out with good guides, it's basically like an I win button for Warframe YouTube revenue, right? If you come out with a good 101 guide. But like all of these, like talking about a frame in depth, why is Warframe is Corona good? Okay. Teshin good. Okay, Zaku. You could talk about a frame. There are content creators right now that have made their channel talking loosely and more metaphorically about a frame one by one. Okay. Not gonna name names. There have been some where I've recommended this to them. There are some that have not. Varying degrees of success. But this is, I can tell you right now, a incredibly effective strategy for views right now. Okay. There's two Warframe too many logins, Warframe to do. This one has gone down. And it makes me sad because I actually spent some time on this one. You kind of, if you were paying attention, you probably would have got the gist on the 102 modding video. A lot of that information is just like off the top of my head now, in terms of like a polished nature, if you will. I had been working. Hold on, let me find it. On a to-do list, right? Just broad to-do list. And this was something I was working on. About like, if you had to recommend somebody the most painless way of playing Warframe, where by the time they got to the Zariman, they didn't do without anything. where you recommended the syndicate mods and whatnot, like specific things to get from the dojo, that sort of thing. That's what this list needs to be, but that is an incredibly long video. So this website, just to go back, oh look, Warframe versus Destiny. I wonder if there's been any incredibly popular videos that have come out in the past 3 months for that. Wild, right? It's like somebody's using the site, huh? So this website is a very, very polished form of this, but these search results are not unique. So I will be posting this, but there's a bunch of stuff you could make here if you want a couple 100,000 views. But the fact is this is basically a massive to-do list for the community, because what we actually need to get to is to actually having fun with the damn game. Okay? We actually need to get to the point where people are enjoying the game and not constantly having to teach people how to right their boat like they're in a hurricane. Okay? The ground needs to quit shifting below our feet. We gotta be able to stick to a specific modding style. Obviously, some flexibility is nice, but it needs to be sort of sectioned off for higher tier content. But the idea of a build guide for every fucking frame, for every fucking game node, unless it's like a level cap or something, obviously you're going to get more and more specific. But the idea of having this stuff and still having trouble in Steel Path and Warframe 2023 is a little wild to me and seems a little jarring if you're trying to get the community like to move on as a unit. Pardon. Need to clear my throat. It seems like we just need to move past it. But more importantly, we need more content on people just straight up having fun. And for the love of God, we gotta stop with the fucking how-to guides. And let's do the last one, which is actually super new. Everybody's heard about it. But I've been messing around with it like somewhat recently when it's not like at server max, right? GPT, right? Like you ask a generic question, how do people have front and Warframe? And these answers aren't the fucking worst. People can do co-op missions, join forces, and complete missions together either with friends or random players. Yeah, running missions with competent people is super fun. PvP battles, ooh, close. Maybe, if it's against people in your clan. Exploration, this one I think would be a good idea. Like maybe somebody do, like I've seen guides for say like EVE Online, where there was this one guy that literally went to every solar system and just explored everything in EVE, right? So if you wanted to like look at what was there, like there was this guy just going through everything, right? There was like hundreds of solar systems. Somebody exploring and showing interesting things and interesting landmarks in the open world, I think is like an idea. Maybe Plains of Eidolon not so much, but say something for like Fortuna, right? Or Velis. That is a big ass open world map compared to the others, right? So something like that, I could see that. Crafting, build videos for the love of God, trading. There's millions of videos on how to make plat, lore, and storytelling. Like obviously those videos are wonderful. I listen to those. Same thing. What do people love about Warframe? It gives a slightly different itemization. What do people hate about Warframe? The grind. Damn. Complexity. Yeah. Microtransactions. Maybe. Some players may dislike the presence of microtransactions that it offers because cosmetics and convenience items. Though I would say this wouldn't be like a main reason, but the fact that all of the cosmetics except for like some more generic ones are hidden behind the free to play model. I can understand that. Like, there's really no way besides like getting the immortal skins, right? Imbalanced gameplay. Good lord, don't tell the forums that. Connection issues. Post migrations have been around for forever. Limited matchmaking options. Yeah. Buggy or unstable. It's not a bug, it's a feature. So, with very little questioning, you can get a fairly decent starting point. If you're trying to just like use it as like a soundboard, I would recommend using that. Maybe one day I'll do a AI generated YouTube video on Warframe. But the fact is, and I got to agree with what Slinger wanted, Warframe grind on YouTube. Um, is the fact is it? I think the highest tier Warframe content that we have access to right now, in terms of like quality of content, good PR, good for the community, good for the health of the community, is literally just knowledgeable players with effective builds and people just dicking around in a mission. Really, I think that's the highest tier that we have. Not people trying to speed run shit. Obviously, that's a thing, right? Um, there's definitely a permanent place for that. If there's a timer attached to somebody, people are gonna see who can get it the lowest. But just like a casual survival with high tier content, where people are just doing it competently, easily, aren't really stressed, I think is, you know, it's like, say, League of Legends highlights or CSGO highlights. The best content is an incredibly technical, strong player, knowledgeable player, making something really difficult look really fucking easy. That is, there is always going to be an audience for that, right? So the fact is it just, I think the what we eventually need to move toward is just people hanging out and doing the hard stuff, but just taking their time with it and having a good time. Um, so this is more of a rant video. I'm gonna link those websites down in the bottom, or at least the answer the public, and obviously Chat GPT if you haven't heard about it. Definitely good sites to like get the juices rolling. Um, but frankly, the best source and really the only source if you're new to making content, and the one that will always keep you going, is um, just dealing with your community. Just interact with your community. Those are your people. I almost exclusively answer questions that somebody in the comments section or somebody in the clan has. I will talk about stuff where it's like as I'm like teaching somebody or like showing them somebody Warframe. If there is something that comes along where it's like an easily, or it's like a surprisingly misunderstood thing, um, I will then make a video on that, so it technically won't be like a question. But the fact is it's kind of a mandate that we got to get this done a little bit. But the fact is it just needs to be a bunch of buddies hanging out, dicking around. I genuinely think is the best tier content that Warframe has to offer right now. So, anyways, I hope this didn't bore you. This is a little off pace. Um, and I think this would be a decent step in preventing burnout. Is literally just like clans getting discords and everybody just being social. It's not about doing level caps all the time. Um, so anyway, rant over. Thank you all for listening to my TED talk. At least that's what I'm supposed to say, right? But just general theory on how this is supposed to go. I'll post the links when the video uploads. But anyway, take it easy, guys. Have a blessed day. Later.